Hello, hello, happy July. I hope you are staying cool wherever you are. And I thought this would be a fun day to review some writing craft resources. Whether you are participating in Camp NaNoWriMo or not, these may be some wonderful books to add to your collection as you continue to improve your writing craft. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Christina, and if you've been here before, welcome back. I make content about books, writing, and self-publishing. Okay, so the first book I want to talk about is one I'm really excited about. This one is called 7 Drafts. I am currently working my way through it, but I can already tell like this is going to be a very practical resource. So this says 7 Drafts, self-edit like a pro from blank page to book. Honestly, I should have read this book before even consulting beta readers, but it's too late for that. If you want to know more about beta readers and my experience, you can watch this video. But self-edit like a pro, 7 Drafts, takes you through 7 drafts to get your manuscript more polished. And I really like this idea because even though intuitively I know that there is more than draft 0 in your finished manuscript, for some reason I forget that, and I think that the first draft has to be really, really good, even the second draft, even though I know there are so many revisions. So I'm just going to read you the title of the 7 drafts, and if that sounds like a good book to you, pick it up. So the 7 drafts: the vomit draft, the story draft, the character draft. I think that is the one I'm working on next. The technical draft, the personal copy edit. Then there's an intermission or a chapter called intermission, the friend read, the editor read, publication, and then the last 2 chapters are Making a Writing Life and the Writer's Toolbox. So I'm really excited to dig into this. If you've read this, if you use this, let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I would love to know. Okay. Book number 2 for self-editing. This book, I keep getting to a point where I read the first chapter, but I read it during a time where I'm not actually writing. So I have yet to finish this book because I think this book is better used while you are sitting in front of your manuscript and actually editing it. I just keep reading this for fun. And the only thing I remember this right now from this book is saying, do a final read through, print your manuscript out, or put it on iBooks, put it on Kindle, just read it in a different format that your brain isn't used to seeing. But yeah, another self-editing book, intuitive editing. And then we have this book. This book is a little boring to me. It's the elements of style. Things like what type of paragraph spacing should you use? When should you use a comma? When should you use an apostrophe? It's tiny, but it's potent and it's useful. This is likely best for you as you are in the copy editing stages, or if you are doing your own proofreading at the very end. It's not a fun read, but it will teach you things like what a compound sentence is. And it will say things like, I don't know, words and expressions commonly misused. There's a whole chapter on that. So it packs a punch. Not very exciting. Easy to pack in a suitcase though. So there's that one. And then for the final collection, you've probably seen these before, but we have these wonderful thesaurus. Anyways, these are by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but they have so many useful ones. So I bought the Conflict Thesaurus. This is one I really need to go through one of my next drafts because I'm really trying to escalate the amount of tension in my book. And each of these have just really good lessons and descriptions in the front, and they're just kind of nice to flip through. Like this one says a lie impacting someone else, and then it gives you examples. So the character concealing a medical condition, misleading others about the status of a romantic relationship, falsely accusing someone of a crime. And then it has minor complications, uncomfortable conversations when the character is confronted about their lies. So just pages like this, I don't know if you can see it, but I think it's just really good for brainstorming. Having to betray a friend or loved one. So literally this book is a list of conflicts. Like what writer does not need that? So we have that one. We have the urban setting thesaurus. This one just teaches you how to describe certain urban settings like a convenience store, a bookstore, fast food restaurant, psychiatric ward, prison cell, police station, tons of settings. I think I bought this specifically because I wanted brainstorming help for describing an airport, but I don't think an airport is one of the settings in this book, but I'm sure it will come in useful. And if you're someone that is trying to sharpen your imagery, highly recommend this one. Next one is the occupation thesaurus. Pretty straightforward. It has a list of different occupations, but with these occupations, for example, I flipped to a random page, it says emergency dispatcher. With these occupations, you have their overview, the necessary training needed for that occupation. So say your character plays tennis and you don't know a thing about tennis, maybe that's in here. Useful skills, talents, or abilities, helpful character traits, so someone that would be attracted to that type of occupation. Sources of friction. So for emergency dispatcher, an example they give is technical difficulties or machinery malfunctions. People they might interact with, people in crisis, other dispatchers, supervisors, first responders. How this occupation might impact the character's needs, esteem and recognition, love and belonging, safety and security, and then they go in depth for each one of those. Twisting the fictional stereotype. There tend to be more female dispatchers, so consider this occupation for your male characters. Interesting, interesting. This job will expose the character to a range of traumas, and odds are at some point your character will be triggered and make an association to something from their own past. How this might play out could add interesting layers to the story, especially if the dispatcher has something significant in common with the caller. Characters might choose this profession because they had a loved one whose life was saved by emergency personnel, have a powerful desire to help others in times of needs, want to serve others but have a condition that requires a desk job, and a whole bunch of things. So again, very useful, but much like the urban setting thesaurus, I picked this up looking for brainstorming for a certain occupation, and it is not in this book, but I'm sure it will also come in useful. Okay. Then we have the positive trait thesaurus. I haven't used this one all that much. It's just going through positive traits. I think this one I will use when I'm creating new characters. It just lists things. It lists all sorts of positive traits. So we have affectionate, alert, analytical, appreciative, calm, centered. I guess it's in alphabetical order. And then it has the definition of those traits, similar attributes, possible causes like growing up in a loving home. Oh, this is for affectionate. Overcompensating for a lack of love in the past, having affectionate role models, and then associated behaviors, associated thoughts, associated emotions, positive aspects, negative aspects, and then they have examples from literature. So this might be good too when you're going through a character draft. Maybe if you're using the 7 draft books that I showed earlier, this would be good. Another one we have is the negative trait thesaurus. The exact same. They're just negative traits. So maybe when you're working on your villains or your antagonists, confrontational, irrational, inattentive, frivolous, cruel. Yeah, so it could be very useful for writing villains. And then the last one, this one I've probably used the most or referred to the most, is the emotion thesaurus. When I'm trying to write a scene where I want the character to show their emotion or kind of describe how they're feeling in first person, just feeling like, wow, I'm in awe. I want to describe it more. This one lists emotions and it talks about physical signs and behaviors, internal sensations, mental responses, acute or long-term responses from this emotion, signs that this emotion is being suppressed. So for the emotion awe, A-W-E, they say sneaking glances at the event or situation rather than keeping one's focus there. May escalate to euphoria, obsession, adoration. May de-escalate to moved, connectedness, admiration. And then it shows the page numbers for those other emotions, which I think is super cool. Then they have associated power verbs. And then they have writer's tip. When you're describing a character's emotional reaction through the eyes of another character, think about the depth of their relationship. If it's close, a simple hair tuck or half wave could be steeped in meaning, which the point of view character can then share with the reader. Oh, okay, yeah. I really like this book. So if you're not like getting the whole connection right away and you want to start somewhere, I would say start with the emotion thesaurus and 7 drafts, honestly. I think just these 2 books, if you're just getting started, if this is one of your first Camp NaNoWriMos, or if you're not even doing camp but you're just getting started in writing, I think these are 2 really great craft books. So let me know, what are you reading? What are you writing? And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.